Getting back to Maldives, listening to you, would it be fair to say that you are cautiously optimistic about Maldives' political future in terms of political stability or its external engagement?
I think it would be a tricky thing to answer because, again, as I said, within Maldives always had a history, right? Thanks to President Soli, the only person I think who was able to manage the 5 years without any major political turmoil. But apart from it, Nasheed, 4 years, and he was kicked out of power. Wahid came in, he never got re-elected again. In fact, he's nowhere to be seen in the political scene of Maldives today. Yamin had to put down two protests. One in 2018, which obviously led to his ousting, and in 2015, he had to fight with his allies. He had to keep them out in the corner. He had to imprison his former vice presidents. So yeah, Maldives is not new to political uncertainty and instability. But what might change this time is again the I think probably the differences between PPM PNC in terms of Muizu and Yamin. I think that's a big challenge going ahead on how how these disputes will be resolved, and what if PPM PNC gets separated, and what if Muizu is all by himself, right? In terms of anything could happen. We don't know. Considering how Yamin works with his colleagues, at least from the history, we know that it's not fair. He is very power hungry. He knows how to keep his power in his fold, and he knows how to suppress people whenever the need be it whoever, be it his vice president or be it his close associate for the last 20 years. So I think that's what Yamin does. And I think that's where a major challenge would come. The first challenge would obviously be instability in terms of PP and PNC. And since this time PNC and PPM is leading the alliance, he's again the president's, will be having a president. We have to see how this goes, right? If the president himself is very unstable in terms of his party, we don't know how this administration will go ahead. Now, the second likelihood of political instability is obviously PPM PNC not getting enough numbers, and MDP still having the majority it enjoys after the 2024 election. If MDP enjoys the same majority, I think PPM PNC will not be able to pass anything substantial within the parliament. And I think that would cause a lot of concern for PPM PNC and also for the allies around PPM PNC, and a lot of politicization of everything that happens. So that has a potential of instability. And I think the third thing that I probably sense is, and if, not if, is and when the referendum comes to place. Nasheed has said now that, we don't need a referendum, we'll let Muizu assemble his administration, but this is a temporary, convenient step for both of them, right?
You mean referendum pertaining to whether they should have a parliamentary system over presidential system?
Yes.
Please, yeah.
Yes. I think it's a temporary relationship between Muizu, PPM, PNC, and Nasheed as of now. I mean, they don't align ideologically. Their personalities are completely different. They have a very, very hostile history, right? So as of now, I mean, Nasheed has said, okay, let's postpone it to let Muizu assemble his administration. But will that be the case probably 5-6 months down the line when parliamentary elections happen, and if PPM PNC doesn't get the majority, right? Or will that be the case when PPM PNC completely fall out with the Democrats, and then the Democrats will obviously have this leverage point that we are going to have let's have a parliamentary system, and they will try to get this passed. I mean, there are other parties which are still waiting to like distance themselves from Muizu, distance themselves from PPM PNC. So I think this is a likelihood that when this happens, and if the referendum happens, I think that will be a major political challenge in terms of the Maldivian domestic politics. But I think foreign policy, I am somewhat optimistic that Muizu will strike a balance. But nothing is definite. If the domestic political situation in Maldives is itself in turmoil, I wouldn't say anything very definitely, right? For example, in 2015, 2017, India was still being fairly neutral till the time the domestic situation, hit the rock bottom and Yamin imposed an emergency, and India said, no, we can't have you impose an emergency. And that's when, Yamin went on a complete anti-India rhetoric, asking India to withdraw its helicopters, and India is violating its authority. So I think there's this relation. So we'll have to wait and watch. I mean, now that there are massive stakes, including that US has been involved now, Australia has been involved. So they'll also keep an eye out for democracy and how the democratic system in the country evolves. So I think I'm optimistic about the foreign policy front, but I would say we'll wait and see how the domestic situation unfolds as well.
Thank you, Aditya. Thanks for a wonderful analysis on how complex the politics of this small island state is. And it's wonderful listening to you. And I hope we continue this conversation in future as well. I think as the world gets increasingly multipolar, even small states which are strategically located like Maldives and right in the center of the Indian Ocean will tend to have a disproportionate influence on the politics, the geopolitics of the larger regions such as the Indian Ocean region. I thank you for the conversation. I hope all the listeners of this program have found the conversation useful and they have enjoyed it. Till then, till the next conversation, goodbye. Thank you. Stay safe. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.